All right, so the 3 horsepower version of the HTMR wet and dry blast gun is now available. You can buy one of these by clicking in the upper right or in the video description. And in this video, we're just going to talk about what this thing can do, and also we're going to actually dry blast and wet blast with it as a demo. In this cabinet here, it's made out of wood, and I can convert from dry to wet in a matter of minutes. I have plans available so you too can build one of these if you're interested. And I just came out with 40 by 60 plans. That link is in the upper right. So this one here is 42 by 30. This can be scaled 60 to 40. I plan on coming out with different sizes as well in the future, but right now 42 by 30, 60 by 40. It's huge, and you save a ton of money by just using wood. And yes, it's waterproof, it's strong. I've had this for, I don't know, over a year now. Works great. Okay, so back to this gun, and why would you choose this gun over guns that I'm going to show up on the screen right now? Well, the guns that I just showed on the screen, usually they are Chinese guns, and they are air hogs, meaning they consume a ton of air with not a lot of results. So by switching to this, you are going to be blasting up to 2 times faster, given the same amount of CFM. Those Chinese guns are very inefficient, and it's mainly due to poor quality and not so good nozzle design. Okay, so what I have here works really well. It's been out for a year. I've had 3 sizes, now 4 sizes up till now. So now we have the 3 horse, the 5 horse, the 7.5 horse, and the 10 horse, ranging from CFMs from 10 to 37, everywhere in between, depending on, you know, what compressor size you have. Now, when you buy the Chinese gun, you're not going to get a 10 CFM version. Okay, they put huge air jets in them to consume a lot of air, so it thinks like, you know, you're blasting well. But those of you with smaller compressors, it just will not keep up. Okay, so for the 3 horse version, what compressors work well? Well, you can use two horsepower 120 volt versions. I'm going to show them up on the screen. If you get 2 of them on 2 separate circuits, that'll net you 12 CFM. Okay, because that's all you can get out of 120 volts is 2 horsepower, 6 CFM. But you get 2 of them going, that's 12 CFM. This gun would work great for that. Another compressor that's pretty common is they have a 60-gallon 220 volt version that's, they claim, is a 3.2 running horsepower version, and that's usually 10 or 11 CFM. I'll throw one of those up on the screen. You know, you can get those at Home Depot or whatever. That's a really popular model, and that compressor will work great with this gun. If you have a larger compressor, great. Go buy a larger size gun. That'll work well. Okay, so I've said this numerous times on the channel. If you're new here, there are 2 main ways to speed up blasting. That is more CFM, so more compressor, and we all know how much compressors cost, right? And in the past year, the prices have jumped like crazy on everything in life, right? So anyway, you either get more CFM, or why not just get a more efficient gun? Okay, so that's the easiest thing you can do, because you know, you buy this once and you're not wasting energy over and over and over again. So those are the 2 things that greatly increase productivity. Okay, that's it. Assuming you have the right media and the right pressure and all that, that's a given, right? So it's either the gun or more compressor. Those are the 2 major things that will speed up your process if you want to go faster. And trust me, we all want to go faster. I mean, if you spend hours behind this thing, if you're impatient like me, you want to get this stuff done. Okay, and also I ship worldwide. Last year I have shipped to over 30 countries. The service I now use is very reliable, and if you are in Europe, from Chicago to Europe, 3 to 4 days to get this guy. Very quick. If you're like in New Zealand or Australia, it takes 1 to 2 weeks, but still it's very quick. Also, I should mention that my website generates live rates or quotes. So all you got to do is put the stuff you want in the cart, proceed with checking out by putting in your address, and it'll give you a quote. Now, about the quoting, if you add hoses to your order, it goes into a larger box, therefore it's going to double the rate internationally. I mean, it's just much bigger. They go by volume and weight, and therefore it's going to cost more. So if you can do without hoses, then it should, for most places, I can get this guy out 40 to 60 bucks, depending where you live or whatever. Now, if the quote's higher, it's maybe because you live in a remote area, okay? If you live outside the city and it takes a while for the service to get to you, they nab you with a $42 remote area charge, okay? Please email me your address. I can double check the quote for you. But anyway, there's that. What people have done to go around that is they've mailed it to their friend in a city, relative or friend in a city, and then they used a local service to forward it to your address. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go to the workbench and talk about the parts in here, and then we'll do some blasting, and that'll do it. Again, the link is in the upper right or in the video description on how to buy one of these. Okay, so here's everything so far. We got 4 sizes. We got the 3 horse, 5 horse, 7.5 horse, and the 10 horse. Now, what makes these guns different is how you build them up with the air-jet nozzle combination. There are 4 different air-jet sizes right now and 3 nozzle sizes. Okay, that's it. The housing, the nut, everything else is the same. So you can even buy a gun and go later on and go, oh, I want to downgrade or upgrade. Well, you can change them out. So one thing I want to mention is here's the 3 horse jet. It uses a 5 horse nozzle, okay? And the reason for that, this guy's a little different, is because I tried a smaller nozzle and it wasn't working so good because there was a lot of back pressure. So it needed to be relieved by opening up the hole. So this gun really is configured in a polishing configuration, meaning small jet, large nozzle combo, like I've said for my other guns. So with this gun, you cannot swap nozzles, you know, go to a larger one or smaller one. You have to run the 3 horse jet with the 5 horse nozzle. The gun comes assembled that way. All you got to do is, you know, put it in your machine and you're ready to go, okay? Now, for those of you that have the 5 horse gun and you feel your compressor is running too much, well, I sell the 3 horse jets available separately. You just swap jets, okay? Now, I know this is really confusing about jets and nozzle combinations. Well, I'm here to tell you that the 3 horse and the 10 horse, you buy them as is, you use them as is, no nozzle swapping or anything. With the 5 horse and the 7.5 horse, you can up the nozzle one size. So for the 5 horse, you can go 7.5 nozzle. With the 7.5 horse gun, you can go 10 horse nozzle. So that's it. So that really simplifies things. You got those guns that you run them as is, and then you got the 5 and the 7.5 horse where you can go up one size in a nozzle to get more slurry volume out at a lower speed for polishing, or some people just even prefer this kind of setup. And that's what's cool about this, is you can buy these parts and you can you know, experiment and see what you like. It's all up to you. There's no wrong or right answer here. So that's everything. Now let's move on. I want to show you the parts that we're going to blast and so forth. Okay, here's a part we're going to be dry blasting. It's off my Chevelle and it just looks terrible, and I also have to do a little bit more welding on it, and the paint is just screwing me up. So I want to dry blast it so the surface is clean. I can do a little welding, and then obviously I got to repaint this whole thing, but there's drip marks and whatnot. Honestly, I don't know what kind of paint this is, but I'm assuming it's lacquer or enamel. It's not powder coat, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll dry blast this. All right, this whole thing is set up for dry blasting. So I got my dry media in here. All right, I got the metering valve, the dust deputy, and I have the shop vac on a variable speed control on medium speed, because otherwise it'll suck the gloves. You know, but anyway, it's quick. It's quick to convert, and it works. And then after I dry blast, I'll swap it over to wet blast and, you know, keep going. Okay, so this part's done. It took me, 10-15 minutes. Used a medium crushed glass, 60 to 80 psi. At 80 psi, I noticed it wasn't going much quicker, so I just reduced the air pressure down to 60. That seemed to be the sweet spot. So this is super clean. I can do a little more welding, and then it has a perfect profile to accept paint. This would be a stupid part to vapor blast, to be honest, so dry blast still has its place. So yeah. And this is only 10 CFM, guys. You want to go faster? By all means, try a different gun, one of my bigger sizes. But 10 CFM, it was nice to hear my compressor turn off for a good few minutes and then cycle. So I mean, it's nice to reduce the air consumption and still get some work done. So anyway, that's that part. All right, so we got rid of the dry media, threw all the wet blast stuff right under there, and we're ready to go. So dry blast and wet blast all in the same day, in the same cabinet, and fresh media, fresh water, and let's see what this 3-horse can do. All right, here's what we're gonna vapor blast. This carburetor is deemed junk. Okay, I mean, look at it. This thing is a wreck. You got crusty stuff in here from corrosion. You got some varnish. This white stuff is corrosion. It's very difficult to remove. There's rust on the metal parts, meaning the plating is compromised. I mean, the vapor blast will take that off, but you really want to re-zinc all that. Someone took some spray paint to this, so we should be able to remove the paint, get this thing looking brand spanking new. Now, anytime you do a carburetor, you're going to want to fully disassemble it, including the throttle shafts, because media will get in here and it'll be crunchy. Okay, but for purposes of this video, I'm just going to stick it in as is. I have no intention of rebuilding this. I don't even know what bike it goes on to. It's just for showing you what this gun can do. So this thing's a wreck, man, a complete wreck. Okay, by no means is it done. That was just 5 minutes, and you get the point. And look what it can do. I dented these floats. 60 psi apparently is too much for these. What I like to do is hold these and just hit it with like 30 psi from a far distance, and the brass cleans up insanely well. So that was too much. Another thing, over here there was layers and layers of paint. It looks like there's primer, blue, red. What the hell are these people doing? And it started removing the zinc plate. So I just did a little test spot to see that it can remove all that. So this guy here needs to be fully stripped down to bare metal and then replated. Same with these parts. Anytime there's rust, the zinc plating is compromised. It needs to be fully stripped and replated. So I don't know if you can hear this. There's a little bit of media in there, so you definitely want to take this all apart when you blast. Also, I was able to aim the gun in here and clean up real nice. All the crusty stuff, most of the crusty stuff is gone, but you need to fully disassemble this. But anyway, 5 minutes and you can take a junk carb and make it look new again. The 3-horse definitely has the capability to do that. 10 CFM, which is pretty low in power, man. Considering, compared to the 5-horse gun, 7.5 horse, 10 horse. So just keep that in mind. This is only 10 CFM, and the gun is efficient, and it moves the media. It's the gun's job to accelerate it, blast stuff, and yeah. So that's that. Link is in the upper right in the video description for the 3-horse model.